Yep.
All right, guys, welcome to Chat with Kat. Today, I've got a really special guest, probably really good timing to get to know her. Her name is Leah Goodwin, and she is the owner of Details Managed. Pretty self-explanatory, you know, obviously you need somebody who looks at the details in your business, who's going to help you walk you through your business plan. And we are getting to the end of our year, which means, you know, some people plan at the end of this year for next year. Some people plan at the beginning of the year for, you know, their 2022. I don't know what you recommend, but January is my slow time. So I like to plan in January for the year. So, you know, Leah Goodwin is great with helping you with your strategic growth plan in your business, as well as being there to be your accountability partner, to be with you. So, you know, a lot of people make resolutions, right?
Right,
like,
right.
This is what I'm going to do. And then they stick with it for all of a month or two. And then I give up. I can't do it. Right. So Leah, you're somebody who goes, hey, let's keep going. Let's keep going. This is your plan, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm so glad to be here. I'm grateful to get to visit with you and get to know you and share what I do. And that, like you said, the strategic growth plan I mean, I like to do it before I'm getting into that time. So for me, I'm like, oh, let's do it in December. But I know what you're saying, like December is super crazy. Yeah. So next best case scenario is to do it in January. Like you said, that's a little bit slower. People have time to think. And so that's good too. Either way, I just kind of sit down with my clients, both my retainer clients and then just any one-on-one clients that I'm going to do the strategic growth plan with, and just take a look at like the mission, vision, and values they have for their business, because that's kind of the foundation of everything they want to do in their business. And sometimes we just randomly choose, oh, I need to do that, but does it support our mission, vision, and values? You know, like, is it coming back to that? And so then once we've established what that is for their business, then we go through 7 strategic objectives of business. Things like client experience, visibility, organizational effectiveness, team growth, and just see where they are now and where they want to be by the end of the year, so that they're making progress towards their vision. And through that process, we come up with a lot of different tasks that need to be done to get them there. So then at the end, we kind of map that out by quarter. You know, this is our focus for this quarter. We're going to focus on visibility, and this quarter we're going to focus on product development. And so that they have a plan for the whole year. And sometimes I would just end working with them then, but if they're interested, then we can either continue to work as like, I could just be their accountability person and meet with them like once a month to make sure they're making progress, or I can actually work in their business and be the person who actually oversees the implementation of that plan, so that I meet with them every week and say, you know, this was our vision. And these were our goals for this quarter. What are we doing this week, you know, to work towards that? And I just work with their team to make sure all those things get in place. And that really frees them up from being the bottleneck in their business, because that's kind of what happens. You know, we start our business, it's kind of small at first, and we wear all the hats and we're doing it all. And then at some point, hopefully we're getting successful, and all of a sudden we have too much to do. And most likely, besides myself, don't love the operation sides of it. You know, like my clients are, you know, wellness coaches or yoga teachers, or, you know, the financial industry, and their zone of genius is not operations. That's not what they want to spend their days doing. So I make sure that we get those tasks to the people whose zone it is, and then they can focus on, you know, creating content for their business, creating revenue generating activities, doing their client work, and they can stick to that and be more focused. So I really love it because I love all the operation side of it. So it lets me do what I love to do and them do what they love to do too.
Yeah. And, just with talking to you, you sound like you would just be the perfect person for the job, because that is what you did in the corporate world, right?
Right.
So you're now just transferring it out of that and just helping new business owners navigate that. So I think, basically being able to basically hire your own operations manager is so amazing, because that, you love yoga, you love to teach yoga, but there's so much to business that you don't expect, right? Everyone's like, oh, I can do this, but there's actually so much more to it than just teaching, right?
Yeah.
So I love that you could have somebody that you can lean on to basically help you with that business plan, with that vision, and keeping you focused on that vision. I've had an accountability partner for probably the last I want to say 6 months now, and it's amazing, like the difference, because I'm someone who, if I say I'm gonna do something and I tell somebody, I'm just like, oh shoot, I gotta do it now.
Right.
So like it's just so much more effective, because now you're not just accountable to yourself, right?
Yeah.
That's where typically where things fall apart. And so, you're like, okay, well, I'm the only one who's affected anyways, I'm the only one who knows my plan. It's okay, I'll just procrastinate, right? But when you've got an accountability partner or a coach, they're like on you. So last week you told me that you were going to do this, this, and this. Like, now you're caught. You're like, okay, someone's going to be on my ass if I don't do what I say I'm going to do. Right.
Well, I feel like that's one of the big challenges that are kind of unexpected about being in business for yourself, is you're like, oh, this is great. I can work when I want to work. I can, if I have my kid has something with school, I can go do that. And like, you just think I'm just going to have all this flexibility and whatever. But then you get into it and you realize, wait a minute, like you said, I don't have to do that today. I can do it next week. And before you know it, you're not doing anything, because there's just nobody there to hold you accountable. Nobody's going to know. So yeah, it's great to have that. And I like being in that role, and being able to help them make that progress just by continually bringing them back to the plan. And visionaries have a lot of ideas, and so it's like every day a new idea. So they really do need somebody to kind of rein them in, I guess, and just be like, yeah, that's a great idea, let's put it on the idea list. Or do you want, if that's such a good idea that we need to run with it, what other thing are we going to adjust from our plan, so that we're not bogging ourselves down too much. But yeah, so I like being able to help with that.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I've kind of run into, because yes, I am that idea person. I'm like, oh, look, I'm gonna do this, and then like I found myself going, okay, I got to do that now, and then like, oh shoot, what was I doing, right? So now I've learned to, oh, great idea, okay, I'm gonna put it on my Trello board for later, right? So I'm more focusing on what I'm doing right now, right? So focus for me is real estate, and my online business, right? So then it's like, with online, there's just so much you can do, so much. There's so many good ideas, right? So, but to be successful in anything, you have to have that focus. You can't just be like, you can't focus on like 100 things, because you'll get nothing done, right? So I've learned to just put all my ideas on a Trello board, and when I have time, I will go out and pick out whatever it is that I find important, and then deal with that.
Right. That's a great.
What are some tips that you might have for people who are, I call it bird brain.
Well, I mean, one of those is, yeah, just to create that list, but also just to kind of schedule tasks, because I think a lot of times we check our email or messages first, and then we're like, oh, I'll just do that real quick. It won't take long. And next thing you know, 2 hours have passed, and you're like, oh, shoot, I really had to do X, Y, and Z. What in the world? I didn't need to spend that much time creating a Canva graphic, like, but it was so fun, like, and so, so I think, like my rule is like, if, first I check, first I review my list of priorities for the day. If I didn't make one yesterday, then I will do that first. And if I did make one yesterday, I review it. Then I check my project management tool. And so in my project management tool, I have it, I keep it updated. So whatever I need to do is in there. So, but if I don't check it first, then I'm not going to know. So I check that first, so I'm clear what my goals are for the day. Then I check my messages, not Facebook, but like email and like other messages. Facebook is such a, time suck, but like, you can download like a messenger app on your computer, so you don't have to get on Facebook to check your Facebook Messenger. And I've done that. So once you've gone through those steps, then you start working on the things that you've scheduled for that day. Something I forgot to mention, when you check your messages, rather than, like my rules, if it will take me less than 5 minutes to respond, then I can respond right then. If not, then I need to schedule it for a time. Because when I started doing that, I was like, oh, wow, I'm getting so much more stuff done. And it totally works better to do things at a scheduled time, even if it's just later that day, because you're more focused and you're like, this is my time for this, and you're not getting distracted. So, and the other part is you're getting the most important things done first, because that's key. And when I first started trying to do this, I was like, oh, but this is going to be so bad. I really have to respond to that message. Like if I leave it till later in the day, that's going to be so bad. I might not get to it, but actually I did get to it, and I got to all the other things too. Because there is this thing like, you actually will take all the time you have to do something. So if you only have a small amount of time, you probably could get it done in a small amount of time, a lot of things. But if you have a lot of time, or you're procrastinating, and I don't know, you'll take a lot of time too. So like, just kind of figuring out some rules for yourself of how you want to work so that your day can go smoothly. And I do have a freebie that I'm just putting out soon. Is called Create Your Dream CEO Day, because I'm just really passionate about that. And like, with just a few tweaks and rules that you make for yourself, you can be working the way you want to work in your business. And by being more structured and intentional about what you do and what order, you can get a lot more done than otherwise.
And creating like starting a really good habit, it takes 21 days to create a new habit, right? So I read, what is it, Atomic Habits, and that's a really, really good book, just to give you the idea of what you can achieve if you just do something little, something easy every day consistently. Like, then it's really easy to build up that habit, right? Once you do it for about 21 days in a row, then it's like you don't even have to think about it anymore. You'll just automatically do it. So creating a really good habit, one of those things that I've done, when did I start? Probably half a year ago or a year ago, was to start looking at my schedule for the next day at the night before, and writing out what I need to get done that day, right? And then in the morning when I wake up, just review it, and it feels really nice to kind of check everything off your list, right? You just feel very accomplished to be able to do that. right? I know there's some days where you're like, okay, I probably thought I could do all this and there was not enough time, but you know, every time you check, it's like, you feel good. And when you feel good, you're more likely to keep doing it. Right.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I've created a habit on, and it's worked so well. I've been so much more productive. And I don't know about you, but when I have a ton of things on my list, I'm so much more productive than what on those days where I have maybe 3 or 4 tasks. I'm like, oh, I have all day. You know, that's that when that procrastination kicks in, you're like, I have so much time. And then all of a sudden it's the end of the day, we're like, shoot, I didn't get to it. Right.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy how our brains work.
Yeah. So, you know, same thing, you know, what you just said, you know, like you just get things done when, even if you have a short amount of time or, you know, all day, you'll get it done. Right. But yeah, for me, I like to have lots of things because it makes me so much more productive. I'm so much more focused. Then I'm like, oh, I have time. Let me go on Facebook. 2 hours later, like.
Right, exactly. That's so crazy how it works like that.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about accountability. I know you mentioned that you know, you might check in like once a month. How effective is that when you're only checking in once a month? Like you have like a checklist for your clients to kind of go through, you know, this is how we're going to achieve your goal. Like what do you do in that one meeting?
Well, and typically with my ongoing clients where I'm working in their business, then I have a weekly meeting with them, and that really gives them a high level of accountability. But if it's like a smaller business and they're not looking for me to work in their business with them, they just want the accountability, then I would do like the one meeting a month, but then like maybe a weekly email or something just to keep, you know, reminding them of what their focus is. So that's kind of just like most often with my clients, I do the retainer, you know, they have me working in their business with them, and that keeps us moving forward at a quicker pace than in the other scenario. It's just on the client to do it all. You know, I'm just holding that accountability partner's position with them. And so it's as effective as they make it, you know, as far as if they actually do it or not. So that's kind of on them, but
yeah. But they're paying for it, really, like
right.
So, right.
So that I feel like that I've worked with someone this year with that, and we've gone, you know, we've had meetings every 2 weeks. I mean, you know, if somebody wanted to pay to have more frequent meetings, we could do that, but yeah, and the emails in between, it just really just depends on them, what works for them. Like, is it going to be beneficial for them to have a check-in once a month, or is that not enough? You know, do they really just need me in there regularly? So
yeah. And I imagine you could, you know, you're pretty flexible in adjusting that depending on their needs.
Right. Yeah.
So, well, you know, we haven't done much in the last 3 months. Maybe we meet maybe bi-weekly, perhaps.
Right. It just depends on the size of the business too, because like if it's a bigger business, then they can justify having an operations manager. But if it's just a small business, then they probably can't justify having an operations manager quite yet. But then I can still help them with the accountability and providing them some planning, or, you know, helping with a little bit of like what they need to do to get there. But then they would take care of it on their end. So
awesome. I'm looking forward to that freebie that you're going to put out. That's like a great start in the planning. So
right, because I think I've just really been thinking about that, because I've just run into so many entrepreneurs who like they went into business because they wanted to have this business for their family, but they are starting to get bogged down by it and focusing so much on their business that they are not having time for their family, like they haven't been able to balance it well. And so I just share some things that I've learned and just kind of walk them through like some steps of things to think about, like, are they responding to their clients like all the time immediately? Like we love our clients and we want to be there for them, but surely they understand that we're running a business and businesses are not usually there 24/7, like you can reply next day, in a lot of cases at least. And so just setting some boundaries for yourself, for your time that you work in your business and those types of things can really, really help you create a business that you enjoy being a part of.
I'm guilty because of the nature of my business. It's very time sensitive. So
Right.
my clients call, I'm like, hello? Like, I'm in the shower. Well, hello. No, just kidding.
Right.
Just kidding. Not that bad. I'm like, they can
Right.
wait half an hour. but like pretty much my phone's glued to my hand because I'm like, well, if a client calls, I need to answer them.
Right.
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 I mean, I guess that really no one's gonna die unless I'm in the middle of negotiations where minutes count. Other than that, like, yeah, they can wait half a day, it's not gonna
Right.
make
Right.
or break anything, right? But
Right.
I don't know, I've just got my clients trained and spoiled and I've
That's
got
the hard part is that when you provide that turnaround time from the start, they expect that. And so then when you try to pull back, then they're like, what's going on? Like you're not giving me as good a service. So that there can be some retraining if you have set that precedent. But you don't want to like be at your kids' basketball game and be like texting a client. Like you're not going to remember that game the same when you're focused on your phone instead of your child,
no,
like
unless I'm dealing with an offer, then yeah, that can wait at that time.
right, yeah.
I mean,
So it's just setting some boundaries.
my kids are at sports a lot, so I'm I'm at the rink or at the gym a lot. So yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean,
Make
I
it
do
deal with my
sometimes, but
business when I need to. So I've had
right.
cases where I just bring my computer and I deal with my offers. But
Right.
anything
Well,
else?
yeah, it's just all a balancing. If that's your time to work and you're like, oh, my kid has practice for 3 hours, I'm going to sit here and work, that's your, that's fine. It's just figuring out what works for you so that you can
Yeah.
be happy in
And
both places.
having a really good support system has really helped me as well. So, I mean, not everybody has it, but if you do, like, take advantage of it, utilize it.
Right.
Like I've got lots of friends and family that help me out a lot. Sometimes I'm in a bind and I need carpooling, right? Like,
Right.
I love carpooling. You need help, I'll help you. I need help, you need to help me, right?
Right. Yeah, that's so awesome.
Like that saying, it takes a village to raise your
Right.
kids. It also takes a village to start up your business.
It does. Yeah.
So like, don't try to navigate things alone. It's so hard. So
Right.
lean on
It's so
people
true.
that can help you in your business, family that can help you with your kids, and having great accountability partners or coaches in your life is a game changer, right?
Right. Yeah. And, I think sometimes people around us don't realize how much we're doing in our online business because they don't understand it. They're like, I had to set some boundaries with some friends because I was like, no, I can't do this during the day. Yes, I work from home, but if I go and do this during my typical work time, then I have to make that time up. And then it's in family time. And then it's, like, and so like finding that balance between like, yes, I will take you off for this. No, I won't for this. Yes, I need help with kids, so I can have a call or, like not being afraid to you know, when people don't understand what an online business is, and that's actually takes time still, just like still reaching out for help. So that's great. Yeah, I love that.
All right. Thank you so much. I just want to end this off with maybe a few tips for somebody who maybe is starting up or maybe struggling. What action steps would you recommend that they do right now if they are struggling to start?
To start getting organized in their business. Struggling with that.
Start getting their business off the ground.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, there's all kinds of, you know, they getting their files organized, getting their plans organized. And I just think like just having a mission and values and goals helps. And so then all of the things that you feel like you need to do in your business, just kind of check yourself. Does that support my mission, vision, and values? How's it going to help me get there? And that could help you be more focused in what you choose to do, because it's so easy to run off in 15 different directions and buy all the programs and do all the things, but like you don't really have to do all of those things. You only need to do the things that support where you're going, and the business that you want to build. And that's the other side of it, is taking some time from the beginning to think about, you know, where your line is going to be between home and business, those boundaries, and just kind of having those so you don't train a client wrong. So you don't have to deal with that, because that's hard. I know, I did it too. That's what I kept hearing when I started out. You got to set boundaries. You got to set boundaries. And I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm just loving this, having clients. And then time went by, and I started to get resentful because I felt like I had to respond all the time, because that's what the expectation was, because that's what I had trained them to expect, because I did respond all the time. So I learned my lesson the hard way.
That's why I love automation. I do a lot of
right. Yes, automation's great. So, yeah,
a lot. But yeah, so you know, I guess what it is start with the end in mind. Start with what's the ultimate goal. Right. And it might not be financial. The goal might be, I want to have freedom in my life. I want to be there for my kids. Okay, so now what needs to happen for that to come true? Right.
Well, and that's been so true for me, because I keep seeing, you can have a 10K month, you can do all this stuff. And I'm like, no, I have a lifestyle business, which means I want to sustain my lifestyle. And my lifestyle that I want is not me working 24/7 to gain as much money as I can. I just want additional income doing something I enjoy.
Exactly. So 10K a month, the goal, because doing 10K a month might mean working 24/7, no sleep.
Exactly. Right? It's never been my goal.
Family time, like, you know, is that the goal? Maybe not, right? The goal is to have time, freedom, flexibility.
Right. So being really clear on that can make all the difference when you're starting out, because it's so easy to get distracted by what you see in the online space of like needing to make as much as possible and be super successful influencer. And not all of us have to be that. And no.
And I mean, like, you know, 10K a month can be done.
Right.
But you have to have that plan, and the strategies to get there without working 24/7. Right. And that's where you come in.
Lifestyle. Yeah, well, exactly. And that's when you do start growing and you're getting close to the 10K months. That's probably when you need an operations manager to jump in and help, because you're not going to be able to do it all, or you're going to be working 24/7.
Yeah. So, for sure. Like, I know during my peak season, it's 15-hour days sometimes. And it's not sustainable, but it's short period. It's short-lived, right? So then it's okay. But if it's like all the time consistently, like, you're gonna get burned out fast.
Right. And then you're gonna be back way far lower than you would have been if you would have.
That's the thing. You grow and then you come back down because it's not sustainable. So you need to have a plan. Once you get to this milestone, what needs to happen? And then the next milestone, what needs to happen. It can't be the same. Like there's no way that you'll do this
Right.
without those, you know, implementing new strategies or whatever.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Your business evolves for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for the good tips. And I hope this helps somebody that's starting out in your own business, or maybe even looking to grow and just being overwhelmed, because it, you know, being in business is very overwhelming, because yeah, we're trying to wear all like the 50 hats, right?
Right.
So having somebody to talk to kind of talk things out. Funny thing, because a lot of times I answer my own questions just by talking to someone.
Right, exactly. It does happen.
I'd be like, this is my challenge, and I start talking, I'm like, oh, I just solved my question. Thank you guys for being there.
Right. Funny how that works. And that's what I feel like happens when we do the strategic growth plan. Like I'm asking them the questions and they're like, oh yeah, that's so clear, but why didn't I think about that? But it's just sometimes just have to have that other person there to talk to.
And you didn't think of it because you're just overwhelmed with all
Right.
things that you need to do. So
right.
Yeah. So I just personally got an assistant. She starts Monday.
Awesome.
And I am so excited to, you know, take away a couple of hats.
Right. Right. That's great. Great.
Awesome.
Love it.
Awesome. Nice chatting with you, Leah. If anybody needs to get their plan done, needs somebody to be there to help them implement it, Leah is a really good option to help get you there. And Leah, you'll put your information in the comments after this?
Yes, yes, I will. Thank you.
Awesome.
I'd love to chat with anybody who just needs ideas or wants more.
Awesome. All right. If you guys have any other questions, put it in the chat or directly message Leah. All right. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.